All right, guys, I've been looking forward to this. This should go live just as we're about to start a different phase of our programming, which is going to help you gain those skills that you've been thinking about for a long time. So handstand walk, double unders, rope climb, pull-ups, etc., muscle ups. We are going to get us there. Dips, L-sits in there, how to actually use the GHD. We will not forego anything. CrossFit, we will still be doing CrossFit. Functional movements, what is CrossFit? Functional movements executed at high intensity across broad modal times and domains. We're still doing that. But we're going to take time to make sure we are growing you in a planned method to gather those skills. Like, where am I at and what's my next step? Okay, so one thing that I wanted to look at is CrossFit in 100 words. I love this statement from Greg Glassman years ago. At the very end of it, it's regularly learn and play new sports, right? So we want to grow into doing these things, but also in there it says master the basics of gymnastics: pull-ups, dips, rope climbs, push-ups, sit-ups, press to the handstand, pirouettes, flips, splits, holds, right? We do teach you that, but we haven't put a fine point on it in the sense of, here's a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month that we're going to have dedicated to this or sprinkled in a lot so that we can see the path to progress. And that's the goals of the coaches and you, is to get you on that path and to know when we say, hey, it's pull-up time, you know where you're at, you know what you're doing, you know what your aim is, right? So some of the gymnastics, it is a neurological component. So I don't have the prerequisite of the gymnastic skill to do it. It could also be I don't have the prerequisite strength to do it. So we have to kind of figure out what those are, and you can gain those at the same time. So let's talk about programming first. It's really not going to look very much different than we already do. The difference is you're going to see, like, as an example, Monday will be, here, let's do some pull-ups and a workout. Then Wednesday, here's some more pull-up practice and a workout neither one of those had pull-ups in it. And then on Friday, there'll be some pull-up practice and pull-ups in the workout. That way you can utilize what you've been working on, right? So the blue stuff, if you're looking at the screen, is every time we're doing something that is focused on heavy. I know some of you guys will, wait, what about strength? CrossFit does build strength. Yeah, but shouldn't we always lift heavy? No, the answer is no. You don't have to do that all the time. I actually feel like the heavy days should be, that's it. I'm doing a 1 rep max and that's all I'm doing. Now, I hate doing 1 rep maxes because it's just a test of where you are. It actually doesn't really build anything. So those tests shouldn't come so often. In the summer, we're going to move away from that and build some strength by using tempo, and we'll get into that later. But anyway, so the blue, you can see there's usually 2 or 3, 2. There's like 2 every week. So that is we're doing something strength-wise. The orange is some sort of skill we're working on. You can see usually it's 4 or 5 days a week. There is some sort of skill we're working on. Because the weather should be better, we're also going to be bringing the stones into the workout. So if you see the green, that is either a stone or a tire flip or maybe the GHD. If you are not experienced on the GHD, when that workout comes up, don't go in there and do a bazillion GHD sit-ups. You are going to regret it. The GHD is a great way to rhabdo yourself, especially if you're on the fitter side and just haven't done them, so you can do a lot of them at one go. You're going to feel it. I might even just do 1 round of GHD and then do sit-ups the rest of the time, or do some GHD and some sit-ups, but you just got to be really careful with that particular movement. So GHD is a glute ham developer, and if you're thinking to yourself, where is that in the gym? That's right, we don't use it that much. Right now it's over where the dumbbells used to be, so we'll be getting on that guy. Yeah, I mean, you can see if you're looking at this, well, if you're listening to this, you can't see it at all, but if you can, you'll notice the way I've done the programming the tried and true CrossFit way, which is you are looking for light, moderate, and heavy days. You're also looking for short, medium, and long days. Your focus is the like 8 to 12 minute time domain and couplets and triplets. Some of the movements are going to be relatively basic so that we can focus on coaching some other aspect. So like, for example, it may be, I don't know, run and wall balls. Well, there's not really much to coach there, but in the front side of it, we're going to do a lot of handstand practice. You're like, oh, so there'll be like 30 minutes of handstands and then a 30-minute workout with run and wall ball or something, right? But you don't have to coach that much on the run and wall ball because it's squat and throw, which we do a lot, and go run, right? Of course, if you're in my classes for run, I always bust people on the running form. Okay, so You can see this. There's a bunch of movements in there. If actually you're thinking, Andy, I'd like to see this particular type of movement or skill or whatever, yeah, let me know. Maybe we can bring it up there. Okay, so the things that it would look like, the progressions is something like this. If you're watching this, it's a whole lot easier than if you're listening. Anyway, what it looks like is this. So pull-ups. If you're looking for the skill set, which I've tried to help people understand, there's a difference between the swing and the kip. For the swinging kipping pull-up, or they just call it the kipping pull-up, there's a difference. And there's a difference in butterfly, right? Do we practice that? I see in most cases people's swing is not very developed, so it's getting there, but it's just not there yet. Or their kip isn't really as aggressive as it could be. So, in my classes, we work on those things. Hopefully in other classes too, I would assume so. So we have a list. It's like, if you could do this on a box, you could do it without a box. So if I don't have the ability, I can still practice that movement. So for example, you're doing 2 kip swings and then a kip up, right? Or 2 kip swings and then a pull up, you're jumping off the box, or 2 and 1, 2 and 1, right? So we're creating that momentum to get it going, whether you're on a box or not. Sometimes you do it straight off the ground. It just depends where you're at. But if you, just like with double unders, if we do the movement, you're going to get used to it and develop something better than if you never do it, right? Or maybe it's a strength side. So maybe we have a PVC pipe that's banded up and we're pulling it down, right? Maybe we're doing barbell rows. Maybe we're doing seated dumbbell press. Or maybe we have the pull-up bar, a barbell across the rig, and we're pulling up into that, kind of like a ring row, but it's a bar, so it's a little bit different. And or maybe you're doing ring rows, right? So we're developing that strength in the pulling aspect. Maybe we're using bands, whether it's a band from the top and you're just stepping into it, or it's a band across the J-hooks that you're kind of trampling it off of. The thing is, try these. What's working for you? What is pushing you in the area that you need? I can watch and sort of see, but your body is going to tell you a whole lot better if we practice and try these. So anyway, that'll be the runway for success. This is where I'm at. So I am doing this and this when pull-ups come up. Perfect. Do I do that in the workout? Yes. Do them in the workout because we want to get them, right? Just don't like, oh, well, whatever, I'll just walk away. Don't do that. We're actually going to push through them. So muscle ups, same thing. Maybe we start off with ring support. Then we go to a strict dip. Maybe it's a low hanging or low ring transition. So I'm on my feet and I'm transitioning through. Or I'm standing up and just transitioning through. Or maybe I'm on my feet on the ground, like in a kneeling position, and I'm standing and pushing through that. Maybe my feet are on a box and I'm trying to get through that. So these are the things we could do. Handstand, man, there's a ton of them, right? So in the handstand, there's many components of this, but one of them is I got to go upside down. So yes, we do. So maybe I'm just kicking up into nothing. I'm just going to kick up a little bit, or I'm kicking up and touching the wall, or I'm going to kick up, touch the wall, straighten out my legs, and then come right back down. Or I'm going to kick up, touch the wall, and hold it for a couple seconds. Or maybe once I get up, I'm walking away from the wall and then back in, right? There's so many things you could do in here, and we'll just have a process for it. So it could be I'm lifting my hands up a teeny bit. I'm rocking my shoulders a teeny bit. I'm tapping my shoulders. I'm on a box, and I'm just going around the box, right? That's fine. It's teaching you to, like, if your knees were on a box, your hands are on the floor, so you could go around it that way. And we also did the other day where you kick up with 2 people holding a PVC pipe so that your feet kind of land into it. And then you're standing in a handstand with a little bit of support and you start your handstand walk, right? So there's a lot of things we can do. Of course, that's a little harder to do in the workout because we're like many people are working out. But you could have one of the other ones. Like I handstand up and then walk to the wall, touch my feet and then walk away. You don't actually need the PVC pipe there. Of course, as we tried the other day when we did this, learn to bail because that's important. So the rope climb. Danny had a great one that I had seen on a video, just totally forgot, but it's wrapping like the larger jump rope, which I actually bought a rope to do this now, over the pull-up rig, right? Then it gives you a stable hand-holding position where you can practice wrapping your feet. That's awesome. We've done this before. We sit on a box, wrap your feet, and then that's it. Or you lean in and then stand up. So there's a lot of things we can do, and we want to help you get there. There will be consistent practice because you get better at these skills when you practice them, right? And of course, dip. So we have those things. There's other ones in there, but you get the idea. There will be you're a white belt on the handstands. You're doing this. You're a yellow belt, so you're doing this. So you'll have your skills sets set out in front of you. Okay. Next thing I wanted to talk about is a lot of times people are like, hey, we don't lift enough. I'm not getting stronger. That's untrue. The reason you think you don't lift enough is because you're thinking hypertrophy. Hypertrophy is back by chest and tri, legs. So it's Monday, Tuesday, and then Wednesday, right? And then you repeat that. What they do is they lift to exhaustion, lots of reps and sets, and then they give it time to then build up. So if you could read this right here, if you look at hypertrophy, it's not just about gaining strength. It actually, the first word, it says it's the focus on increasing size and strength of a muscle. Yes, if you want your muscles to look bigger, you should do hypertrophy. This is what Levi is doing currently because he's a small, or he's not small, he's tall, he's almost 6 feet, but he wants to be a large teenage boy. How do you do that? Well, you eat a lot of protein and you do hypertrophy. That's it. So he's sacrificing fitness because he's a teenager. What does he care about fitness at the moment? I mean, he should, but this is what he wants. So his goals are different than what we offer, and so he's going to do that. If you think I must lift heavy all the time, like that's what I'm doing today is the deadlift is the most important thing. It's not really true. We lift heavy all the time. We're always putting weights in there and lifting under rest. So like workout the other day, someone said, we didn't really lift that much. I'm like, are you kidding? We just did 30 overhead squats and like 40 clean and jerks. And they're like, well, I guess that's true. Yeah, that's true. So CrossFit is different. It does not utilize her hypertrophy, which means you will get stronger, but you aren't going to see it as much because we're not doing hypertrophy, right? We're not giving it as much rest. We do everything all the time at any moment. If you want to see more of it, change your nutrition. There should be the post up already with the nutrition challenge or Kickstarter. So get involved in that. Okay, so one thing we will change to in the summer is doing some tempo lifts. So you look up tempo lifts and does it build strength? Yes. So you explode up, which creates some athletic capacity, but then you go down super slow. Many times when we do this, it's, hey, 3 seconds down, 1 second up, let's say on the back squat. And you're like 1,000, and people are already down. And that's not 3 seconds of down. 3 seconds of down is 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000 down. And so what you're doing is learning that time under tension, that support all the way through the proper range of motion. So that does build strength. It's not hypertrophy, but it will build strength. So we're going to do some of that over the summer. And if you, like I said about Levi, if you're looking at, hey, what about hypertrophy? What type of programs? He's following a relatively simple program. It's the one we use for summer strength. It's Ripeto's starting strength, but it's a little bit different, tweaked for high schoolers because he's been doing lifting for a very long time and he knows what he's doing. So he's trying to build that program right now to offer it to other high schoolers in the summer. Okay, so that's what we're going to look at in April and May is getting those skills. So there will be a lot of workouts that will never, ever repeat. Actually, and a lot of workouts that are the lift is not a specific number, 135 for guys, 95 pounds for girls. It's going to be 55% of your 1 rep max. That way, you're getting the same experience as the other guy, right? So when we stick the weight, we are creating, yes, it's something that we can all measure against each other, but it's very different in what it does to you. So 135 on a snatch is super hard for me. 135 on a snatch for, let's say, Matt Janda, he's like, yeah, that's laughable. I can do that. Yeah, let's do it. So he may get winded faster, but he'll still get through all the work, the lifts before me because I just can't lift that much weight. So it's a different experience. And if the idea is you need to fight under this weight, then 135 doesn't mean anything. What should mean something is the percent of your 1 rep max. Okay, so we'll be doing a lot of that. And you're going to see, wow, that's interesting. When I fight myself in these workouts, the magic of CrossFit is actually even made more evident because of the constantly varied functional movements executed at high intensity across broad modal and time domains. It's crazy. So if you have questions, talk to me. If you don't agree with me, that's totally okay. Trust me. Believe that I believe, because it's true. I believe this stuff works. But I'm happy to talk to anybody anytime. well, almost anytime, anywhere about CrossFit, health, and fitness because I love this stuff. All right, guys, I look forward to this with you. I think everyone's going to gain some skills and they're going to be like, wow, that was pretty cool. And in the summer with the tempo, you're going to hate it because you're lifting under tempo, but it's going to be great. We won't do that much of it. We're going to focus on, if you could only pick one lift to do all year, either the deadlift or the back squat, you should pick the back squat because going through that full range of motion where you're dipping below parallel on your hips and your knees is going to have a much greater impact on your health than anything else. Also, weirdly, I've known guys who focused on their back squat and didn't do bench press and then came back to their bench press 2 months later and could lift more in their bench press. Yes, it has a I can't think of the right word. It will shift, it'll grow, it'll move. So the work can be moved to other parts of your body. It's going to be awesome. You are going to love this. I am super excited.